Everybody, this is our first webinar, so we'll see how it goes here. I see I'm admitting some more people as we go, so if I break speech, that's just because I got to flip over here. If anybody has any questions, feel free to kind of stop me as we go. We want this to kind of be two-way. If you've got a question, I'm sure somebody else does too. Just make sure you're all muted right now. If you're speaking, make sure to unmute. You can see a couple people are in the chat group here. We've got some of our teammates that'll be managing this chat window. So the first one here is adding a contact and kind of how and why do you convert them as leads? And then how do you follow that lead all the way through as a transaction? So by now, I'm sure most of you are up to speed and you've got your contact list on the left-hand side here. You've got all your contacts imported. This is kind of where you house all of your contacts, your databases. We've got users with 100, 200, up to 5,000 contacts, right? And so we differentiate contacts and leads because I don't really want to be staring at my 5,000 people every single morning to see who I have to interact with. So how do I convert these people to a lead? You can add them as a lead, whether you're on mobile or desktop. You can add them directly up here in the right-hand side as a lead, and it's going to say add lead, and I can fill that information out. Or I can use them, as a contact. I can click on, let's say, Tyson here, and I can just go into Tyson's contact card, click edit, and simply move down here to lead type and select what lead he is currently. Maybe he's a buyer and a seller, and I'm going to quickly temperature grade them as hot, warm, or cold. This is totally up to you guys in terms of how you want to run your business. What differentiates a cold, warm, and hot for you might be different for somebody else. For now, I'm going to make Tyson a warm lead and just click save. So now Tyson in the contact table, Tyson is actually, you can see the temperature there of the words. But now when I manage him in my lead tables, which is something I look at daily here as to, what's my future business or where's my business coming from, you can see Tyson down here. I'm going to collapse this cold buyer. As a warm buyer, you can see Tyson shows up here. But Tyson has no information to him. So something I do want to do is make sure that I've got some type of information as to what kind of lead he is. So I can click on Tyson. And I'm going to edit Tyson's details, and I'm going to edit him as lead. And it's important to know anything you do with Tyson as a lead will copy all that. It stores that information as a contact. So they're two in the same thing. You're just editing this contact essentially as a lead. So like I say, anything I do in here will always store it to Tyson's contact card. So I'm going to go in here, scroll a little further down, and I'm going to start typing in, because I've selected him as a warm buyer, it's giving me this option for search criteria. What kind of stuff is he interested in? Maybe he's interested in a condo. Oops, sorry. We'll say up to $1 million. And location, we'll say Kitsilano. You could fill all this information too. What's he looking for? We'll say a 2-bath, 2-bed, maybe up to 1,000 square feet maximum. And then property info here, I've identified Tyson as a hot seller as well, but I actually don't have anything available in Tyson's address right now. As a lead, I didn't add an address to his profile. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to say he lives at 45 Western Street. And I'll just say in Vancouver, BC. Oops, I clicked save there. So now it actually, further down here in the property information, it'll give me that option. And the reason we have this drop-down option for which property information that he's a hot seller to is because he might have investment properties or additional properties, and maybe he's only a hot seller for one specific property. So I want to be able to select that property. And again, if I had filled out all that information, it would kind of populate, what is it? Is it a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom house? Square footage, anything else, and I click save. Close this up. Now from my lead table here, and again, I'm looking at him as a buyer. It shows me what criteria he's looking for. So if you're filling this out, you can see I haven't really done a good job filling that information in my hot buyers, but you should be able to have like a quick glance of what these buyers are interested in. So when you're staring at MLS and new properties come up, you can kind of use this table as a, hey, who do I have for this type of product? And of course, you can kind of toggle on and off or up and down, sort by ascending order, monetary values, or anything else you need to search by. And I'll flip over to Tyson over in seller, and Tyson's sitting down here as a warm seller as well. So part of this was also to talk about how do I convert, right? And so let's just say Tyson's looking at properties. I'm going to click on Tyson, and he's got no activities down here. We haven't shown any properties, but I could go in and show a property. We're not going to talk about that right now, but let's just say Tyson views a condo in Kitsilano and gets an accepted offer. From Tyson's contact card, I've got this option over here saying add accepted offer. So this is where I'm going to convert him from a lead into now a transaction, and Reach is going to manage that transaction all the way through. So let's click on add accepted offer. And I'm going to do 23 3rd Street is where we got the accepted offer in Vancouver. I'm going to fill out minimal information here, but you could fill out all of this detail. And I'm going to say our offer was for $980. This is going to be his primary residence. Now I'm going to get my subject removal completion in possession. And sorry, not in this sample here, but I'll also have a drop down for rescission. In this testing environment, I don't have that option, but in your accounts, you'll have the rescission period. Let's say the subject removal is for the 14th. And so I don't forget, I'm going to put in the completion in possession at this stage. And Reach is already recognizing it because it has a subject removal date. I've got a conditional sale here. Really good to put the listing agent information in. Maybe I've got a certain listing agent that I want to keep communication with. So I'm going to link that listing agent to this transaction. I could fill out my commission now, or I could fill it out later. And then I'm just going to click save. So now Tyson, you're going to notice if I flip over to transactions, and I look here, this is the address that I've just put in. I'm under my transactions. I'm looking at what's in progress, and I've got conditional sales and firm sales. And that now conditional sale is sitting under here, and I can kind of sort these by what do I have up and coming, what's the most urgent subject removal period. But here's Tyson's, accepted offer. And of course, once I'm ready to manage that flow all the way through to firm sale, I'm just managing this along. I can click on Tyson and I can remove the subjects here once that date comes around. Or of course, I can remove it right from this button if you're operating in desktop mode, and I can just remove subjects. And before I remove it, it says kind of, hey, is there anything else you want to edit to this transaction, right? I don't know, maybe the inspection wasn't that good. We got a little bit of a price reduction. And at this point, maybe you also want to enter in your commission and click save. All right, and so that's gonna, I did drop Tyson down here into a firm sale awaiting completion. And don't forget, as you're adding these dates, these subject removals, these completion possessions, those are automatically writing across to your Google Calendar, into your Reach calendar, and however you have your calendars configured. Cool. I'm going to move over to setting up automated tasks. Clicking over here. So automated tasks are a new feature. These are true automatic tasks. And so let's talk about how and what those are. You can see here in my task list, this new feature we released. Before, we used to just have one view all the way down here. Now we've got these essentially these new views, all right? And so I can set up and control and customize whatever views I want. And so some can be automatic tasks that will automatically appear in some of these views. And some of them can just be tagged tasks that sort themselves into a view. So what's the difference there? Let's say I have a new view that I want to create. Maybe I've got, I don't know, you can see here, pick up brochures from the printer. So that's one of my tasks right now. And I'm going to go in and edit that task. And I'm just going to mark this as marketing. Okay, so it's going to put a marketing tag next to this. Now, maybe there's something, I've already got this set up here for marketing, and I can click here, and now that this view recognizes that I've tagged it as marketing, and this task now shows up in that view. I've set this view up, click, and I edit this current view, and now I'm editing the view of marketing, and I'm saying, hey, include any tags that are identified as marketing, and put that into this view. So I could also say that inside this general view, maybe I don't want to see any of these marketing, or I don't want to see any of these personal tagged tasks. I can go in there and edit this view. And I can just say, hey, exclude any of my marketing. And as I mentioned, any of my personal. I click save, and those aren't displayed now inside what I'll call my general tasks. All right, so you can kind of sort and filter how you want your views and your tasks to be shown up. Again, I had that personal tag one. Maybe you create a personal task view here that keeps all of your personal stuff that's maybe not real estate related. But we've also got these automatic tasks. And so inside these three dot menus here, if I click on view task templates, these task templates are, if you've been a Reach user for a number of months, you probably remember what automated tasks were, kind of changed some of that labeling and terminology. These are now called task templates. And so these are kind of your checklists, right? And so anything I do for new listings or anything like that, all of that can kind of sit in here. So if I have new solds, new accepted offers, things like that. Now, I've also got these ones that you can see have a label here as auto. And so these are true automatic tasks. And we're going to set one up for birthdays. So something I always want to track with my clients is their birthdays. And I want to be able to send out a birthday card or a birthday reminder. So what I can do is go in here and I'm going to add a new view. Sorry, hold on one sec. Just want to make sure we have this. A couple of my Zoom screens are covering some things. So first you want to do is you want to set up your task templates. And we've kind of already set up a couple for you if you're not currently using these. And you can select some of these from a common template. So inside these common templates, I've got these ones that Reach has already defined for you as kind of standard task templates. And I've got this birthday email. I'm going to click on OK. And you could change the name of it if you want to. Maybe we want to call it birthday reminder or birthday something else, but I'm going to leave it as birthday email for now. I've got this due date and it's related to a birthday. So these tasks can be related to certain events within Reach. And if I click on this, this is what Reach gives me as kind of relationship based off of. So I want this task of a birthday, obviously, to be related off of the birthday of the client. But you can set up other kind of automatic tasks to be created off of a list date, when a list date expires, when a transaction is created. There's lots of different options within here. And for those of you who haven't seen the video, there is a video inside our tutorial all about task templates and setting up these. We're just going to click the birthday, and I want to be reminded every year, right? You can control the reoccurrence of these reminders. So obviously for somebody's birthday, I want to be reminded every year, and I never want it to end. I have selected this as automatic. And again, Reach has kind of predefined some of these for me already. So realistically, you shouldn't have to change any of these if you're going to set up a birthday one. And I can just go in and click save. So now I've created this birthday email and it's set as automatic. But I need to be able to view that somewhere. And so inside here, I'm going to add a new view. And I'm going to call that view, well, Reach has given us a few defined ones here, and you can actually select the birthday one that we've already created for you. And that's already setting the filters here. It's got some due dates, sorting options, but you can see here it's going to include any of the tags of birthdays. And so everybody's in your contact that has a birthday entered will have a birthday associated to it as a tag. So I can click save, and now it's pulling up all of my birth dates for my clients. Some of you may find when you go through this step that it's going to create a ton of birthdays for you, or birthday reminders, I should say. You can control how much is displayed in each task view by controlling kind of the dates out that you want to see. And what does that look like? If I had a huge list, or maybe I only want to see the next week and I don't need to see to the end of September, I can click on birthdays here and I can edit that current view. And then I can, down here in the filters, I can edit the due date window. And maybe I only want to see those task reminders, within the next today to 15 days out. And if I click close and save, that's going to show me only the next tasks within the next 15 days. So you can do that. You can control your due dates when the tasks appear very, very quickly. Moving on here. You know what, maybe I'll quickly show you one more other useful one. I'm going to add another task template here. I'm going to go up. Every time I add a client or a contact to Reach, whether I'm at an open house, I meet somebody new, I quickly put them inside of Reach, but I don't want to forget about them. Maybe you want to set up a client or a contact reminder within Reach. So Reach has also created another common template here called contact follow-up. I'm going to click OK. And this is telling me, again, the title here, and it's related to when a client is created in Reach. Client create date here. And I'm going to say that every 3 months for me, at least we've set this up as a default, every 3 months I want to be reminded about that contact so that I don't lose touch with those people. You could control this completely. You could say, you know, maybe you want to be reminded every couple days or every 3 days. It's totally up to you. You can change these. But for now, I'm going to stick with every 3 months. And I'm going to select automatic. This is already pre-selected for you. And I'm going to click save. So now that's created this automatic task template of contact follow-up. And then I'm going to go up here and create a view. I'm going to say I want that task to show up inside of a new view. And again, we've predefined this one that's saying you want all the client created dates. So every time a client is created, I want to see that reminder. I'm going to click save. And here you go. Here's all my contacts that have been reminded that are sitting within, contacts that have been added to Reach that are sitting within that 3-month window of reminder. Maybe I don't need to see 37 contacts right now. Maybe I only need to see the most pressing that I need to contact, you know, within a 1-week period. And I'm going to, again, go in there, edit this current view, and change it to maybe the next 10 days that are due. Hit close and save. I mean, within my Reach program, I've got a lot of contacts in here. So again, this gives me kind of a laundry list of all the people that are nearing overdue that I need to stay in touch with. What else we got here? Leveraging team delegation for the teams that are on this call. Team delegation is whether you're working with an assistant or an admin account within Reach, or whether you have various other agents on your team. Team delegation is really, really important when it comes to tasks, listings. There's lots of things you can delegate them. We're just going to talk about tasks right now. So if you are operating in a team environment, the reason to do this one was just to remind you about delegation. So you don't have to be text messaging each other back and forth with certain tasks. Maybe there's, you can see here, this reminder for deposit check, and it's associated to an address here, 3345 West First Street. If I was working with another agent or an admin and I didn't want to do, or I couldn't do that task, within Reach, I can click on that task. I can edit this task, and I can now assign it. I can delegate it to somebody else on my team, right? So instantly, I can delegate that maybe to my assistant, Sarah, here. I click save, and I've now this is a repeating a task. So hold on, let's try a nice cleaner one. Maybe, sorry about that. Review hard drive and better sort your images, right? I can go in there and assign this to my assistant, right? That task now jumps off of my task list, is no longer sitting on my task list. But when I go to my delegated task list, down here at the bottom, that's been delegated to one of my assistants. And so again, you can set up your controls to your user as to how you want to be notified on some of those. You can get an in-app notification when these are done, when these are checked off by the assistant or teammate, or you can set it up to get an email reminder once all of these tasks are done. So that's team delegation. Commission tracking and goal setting. I've spoken to a couple of users that didn't know this feature was around, so we've added this to the list. So within your transactions page, there is commission tracking. And so again, I don't have commissions set here, but you can see in some of these completed firm sales, I have my commission. There's this commission bar along the top. Now it's purposely kind of tucked away just in case you're working in an office environment and you've got people around you that you don't need to be displaying all your commission data to. But if I hover over this bar, it's going to tell me how much I have year to date sitting as completed sales, how much I have sitting as firm transactions, and how much, if any, if I have any conditional commission sitting in there. You can see I have $0 amount because I have no commission outlined here. But if I want to see more details, I can click on Show Details up here. And now it's going to open up and populate the actual year-to-date information. It's going to pull what is your year-to-date exactly, what is your goal, what did you do last year? And if you want to get more into the data, I can click Show More here. I'm going to zoom out. And this is what I find really powerful, is those users, and I highly recommend if you haven't, that have gone back 1 year, maybe 2 years in calendar dates and gone through and entered all the commission data, maybe associated it to a contact, did an accepted offer process, put in the commission, put in the property details of what they bought, and then confirm it as a firm sale. If you walk through that, you're going to have historical data here that you can go back on. So I can toggle on my 22 calendar year. We'll keep it off for now and just kind of see down here in the legend on this side, you can see you can manually set a certain goal. Maybe I'm going to change my goal to $500,000. And all that's going to do is adjust this kind of goal line of blue. And then it's obviously creating a trend line or a line of best fit here of where your transactions need to be year to date to achieve that goal. And now I can kind of see this teal line or this green line tracks all of my current year's transactions on obviously what calendar date they completed at. I can hover over each one of these to find out what the address is. And then of course, where I was year to date in commission when that address completed. So you can see we've obviously been kind of trailing along that goal line of $500,000. And then during the summer here, it's been an acceleration over top of that goal. And I've obviously set to here. And then I've got a bunch of things sitting in yellow, which is 2023, which is this year's kind of pending transactions and has yet to complete, obviously, because it's in the future here. And then if I toggle on the previous year, last year, you can kind of see I sat below that goal. So a couple good things to kind of monitor here, where you are year to date and where you are kind of in relation to your goal that you've set. Of course, we've got cumulative. We've also got monthly data if you want to track that kind of in where you are previous month or month over month and where your highest commission amounts are throughout the year. Great way to kind of analyze that. Anyways, just make sure that when you are tracking that you're actually inputting the commission data here, right? And so if you've got some that are empty here, you could always go back in and change some of those. Perfect. So what else we got here? Commission tracking, goal setting, Infopack. Infopack's a biggie here. Hopefully everybody on this call is using Infopacks. I'm just going to click on here. So let's use Edgemont Boulevard because I know that's the most fullest one. So here in my listings, this is a listing, this is all of my active listings here. I've got about 12 active listings. I'm going to click on 3145 Edgemont Boulevard. For those on the call that don't know what Infopack is, every time a listing is created in Reach, Reach will kind of automatically give you these two options within your listings, Edit Infopack and Sending Infopack. So I'm going to just quickly click on Edit Infopack. Reach will pull in basic property details like address, list price, anything you've filled out currently in Reach, we will pull that into the Infopack. But the Infopack was designed to kind of be your information sharing with other agents or potentially with buyers directly. And this was a way to kind of take your realtor remarks, your DN documents on Paragon or MLS, anywhere you're uploading important information, your Dropbox link, or anything else that you're sharing, and really to kind of centralize that in one area that you can control. Infopack was designed also to increase the amount of information that you're sharing with buyer agents directly about a property. And so along this left-hand side, I now have the ability to go in and enter in preferred dates of my sellers, any services that are connected to the property and what age, if there were renovations, when were they done, but you can see heating, plumbing, hot water, roof age, drainage age, survey, the list goes on here about things you can go in and enter. Anything that's left blank that does not have any populated information in it, will not display as a blank in your info pack. So if you don't have certain information, don't worry about showing up as blank. It will just be omitted from the info pack. But yeah, I've got more things here. I've got a list of renovations that I could go in and fill out. I've got included items with the sale. So this is kind of to take it one step further from MLS to go in and actually select exactly what's included. Other items, you can freeform text right in what's included and obviously what's excluded. And then tenancy, tenant information, right? Is the whole house rented? Is the main house rented? And you can fill out what the amounts are, the rent interval, monthly or yearly. Is laundry included? And then there's room for additional information down here that you want to put about the tenancy or the tenant specifically. And then, excuse me, and then the suite. What is it? It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom. You can fill out kind of the status of it. And then additionally, kind of what items are included, because this stuff always gets left out of contracts. We all know. So again, just get a little bit more specific. You're sending this to your buyer's agents. So this is ideally supposed to educate them and their buyers, but also help them draft a more cleaner, concise contract when the time comes, because they have a list of all of the included items here. Title information, if there's anything specific you want to mention. Additional information, we've kind of given you room to kind of put things in. You will be able to select a picture here, and you can select and add a header to the file. I had one here. Where did that go? Yeah, called this one. All right, and kind of toggle out where you want that image to sit. And then documents. Here you can, so Reach will handle all your documentation, similar to a Dropbox or a Google Suite. You can go in and create certain folders here and upload PDFs as you need to, right? You can do mass upload of PDF documents. You can title change those documents. And once you're all ready, when you send these info packs, agents can directly download all of that documentation. All right, and so if I want to open up a preview of what those info packs look like for those on this call that have yet to use one, Reach is just generating the sample here. This is essentially what your buyer's agents will be looking at. All right, and so there's the image we just uploaded. This is the property, and this is essentially what your buyers or buyer agents are able to quickly glance at, both on desktop or on the mobile phone, as to what you've just created. And of course, at the bottom here, I've got all those documents that are easily downloadable. Close this up. The last thing I'll just quickly mention in the back end here is that there is an area to upload your agent information and your brokerage information. And then of course, at the bottom, any disclaimer that you or your brokerage or real estate association requires you to have. You set this once and it's copied to all of your other info packs. So you don't have to keep uploading this, of course. So I'm going to click save, close out of this. That's creating the info pack. Now you want the ability to be able to send those info packs. So there's two options to send it. You can send it directly from here by clicking Send Info Pack, and it's going to give you some options within this. I can manually type the email address, brandon@reachforagents.com, and I can click Send. I'll just close that for now. I can also click on here. Oh, it did send it there. I can also pick from a list of agents here. So if I'm documenting, if I'm booking all the showings through Reach, right, using the system, creating showings through each listing, Reach is going to pull in all those agents that have shown your property right now. And if, I don't know, you needed to send out these info packs to every agent that showed your property, you could quickly select all the agents and quickly send in a moment's notice info packs directly to them right away. I've also got one more option here where maybe you just want the link. And so I can copy this link, I can open it up in an email, or I can even open it up in a text message and directly send the link right away. One more thing down here is the view history, right? I've got an option to click on here, and it's going to show me who have I sent and how many times have I sent that info pack out to somebody. Right, and when your agents are getting, I don't have the visibility to share that, but when the agent's receiving it, they're receiving a nice branded email with a link to click on, and that's going to fire open that info pack. So that was the one way to send out the info pack. The other way is within your booking of a showing. So we mentioned, again, if you're really leveraging Reach and you're booking your showings through here that automatically sync to your calendar, maybe today I have a showing for 3145 Edgemont Boulevard. I can click on 3145. I'm going to call that a listing showing. It's pre-populated what it is showing. It's populated the address. We'll say from today from 11 till 12. And then if I click on add buyer's agent, I'll just say myself. And I'll click select. Now it's recognized that Brandon, and it's pulling in Brandon's email address from my agent database. And I can directly get the option selected here to send the information package when I save this showing. So if I click save, that's going to obviously send that email information package out to that agent. I'll kind of pause there and mention, digress a little bit here, is keeping your agent database updated. Nice little tidbit here is, if you're not aware, inside your contacts page, you've got all of your client contacts, and then you've also got this ability to house all of your agent contacts. And so for those that have a nice CSV file, maybe, sometimes you can export those out of MLS, all of your agent name, brokerage, cell phone, and email address. You can actually do a quick CSV import into the system. Just make sure you have agent selected here, and then click CSV and upload a CSV file. We've got some documentation there in our documentation section on how to upload agent information. But that's really good. That way, all of your agents' email addresses are already uploaded to your system. So it's really easy to link those agents to event showings like we did here, right? So here's a list of those agents that are now linked. Okay, that's Infopack. Email function. So about 2 months ago, we released the ability to kind of mass email out to contacts and, of course, real estate agents as well. Let's use 2 scenarios here. So I'm going to click on contacts, and I'm going to make sure I click on my clients here. And maybe there's a hot investment property that just popped up on MLS. I'm going to, inside my contacts, I'm going to click this filter, and I'm going to slide over to tags here, and I'm going to filter out some tags. I'm going to find my investors. I'm going to click on investor. Maybe I'm also going to include my commercial investors. All right, and I'm going to close this. And now Reach has pulled in all of my investors here, anybody that's tagged investor or commercial investor. And I can quickly select all these people. And you can see that up in the corner here, I've got 11 people selected. And I can click these 3 dots. It's going to open up kind of the options that I can do within these contacts. And then I'm just going to click send email. Now, this is kind of a beta testing version right now, or a smaller condensed version of the functionality. We're limited to 50 max people per email. That's currently right now. But this is going to allow me to send a quick email out via the email address that I'm registered as a Reach user. So if you're registered with your Outlook or your Gmail-based email address, that's what we'll be using to send out these emails. And it's going to do a first quick check here. It's going to be sending to 11 recipients, and it's obviously seen that 1 contact is missing an email address. We could review and fix it. For now, I'm just going to say exclude this person. If you do want to see, again, this gives you kind of a quick preview of just all the email addresses that it's going to send out to, a nice quick check to make sure you don't notice anything wrong with any of those email addresses. I'm going to click next. And I could have a template email set up right now, and you can do that inside settings. We won't cover that today, but inside settings, you can actually create template emails. For now, I'm just going to call this, hot investment property. And I could go in there and say, hey, and insert the first name of that user, or sorry, that contact. I don't know. This new property just came up, and I could even paste a link into there if I needed to about the new property. You can add your signatures, and that's, again, controllable inside settings. And I'm just going to make sure I select this one, click next. And there you go. This is a nice little email preview of how that email is going to be displayed, and I can sort through each one of those just to kind of see how those look. Again, you want to make sure that the names are correct inside Reach, that you're not misspelling anybody before you send it out. And then I click send, and that's going to send out all of those to the 10 individuals. Remember, I had 11 selected, but 1 didn't have an email address. All right, so that's the ability to quickly tag filter somebody out, or a group of contacts out, and quickly communicate with that intended party or that intended group. Now, there's also a way to use that same type of feature with communicating with your agents. All right, so I'm going to go back to listings. and I'm going to click on 3145 Edgemont Boulevard. That same listing that we were just talking about, the info pack here, I've got a nice list here of, I've obviously shown Brandon, this agent, a few times this property. I've shown a couple other agents this property. Maybe this property's been on the market for 60 days and we're going to do a price reduction. And I want to let these agents know that have shown the property, well in advance to it changing on MLS. I've got this ability here right above inside my activity card. It says email agents. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to open up that same dialog box. And so right now, Reach is grabbing all of those agents that have shown your property, that you've associated to an event or a booked showing of that property. And it's saying, hey, you've got 4 recipients, right? I could show those email addresses quickly on who those are going to. And again, I could have a template set up, and I'm on step 2 here, composing. I could just say, price reduction, 3145 Edgemont. All right, I'm going to type that same email out, create your signature, select next, and that's going to mass distribute to any agents that need to know that you're doing a price reduction or any other type of information. So a nice quick way to be communicating with agents as well. Harness notes and touch points. Yeah, let's talk about notes and touch points. This sometimes actually often gets overlooked here by some users. So let's talk more about Tyson. I'm going to click on Tyson, right? He's a warm buyer. Actually, I'm going to use Tyson as a seller. Click on Tyson from his hot seller lead. Doesn't matter, it still keeps his contact window open here. But down in the activity card here, you can see there's other options, right? This keeps track of all of the booked events that I've done with Tyson. It also keeps track of any tasks that are associated to Tyson. And then I've got touch points here. I've also got important dates, probably bring in his birthday or something here, but touch points. Touch points are meant as kind of a stored note, maybe something longer that you don't just want to put up in notes and that you want to timestamp. So maybe I gave Tyson a valuation of his property 6 months ago, or I'll call it today. I can quickly add a touch point here, and I can just, and this is kind of a reminder for me, the agent, as to what did we do. So I sent an email, I don't know, you could copy and paste the whole email into this notes. I do that sometimes. Or I could just say evaluation, pardon the spelling mistakes, 3.4 mil to 3.45 mil. Oops, sorry. Given Tyson not ready to sell, has to, I don't know, clean house, check back in December. Right, a nice little note for me. I could even create a follow-up task here for that check back in December, but for now, I'm just going to log this as a touch point. And so what Reach does, again, it just kind of timestamps when you did that. I find this really useful if you're kind of data mining your leads here as to, hey, what have I done with these people in the last little bit? Have I spoken with Michael and Brandon and Tyson lately? I use touch points as a really good way to say, oh yeah, back on September 7th, I communicated that to them. At the same time, I use this example of valuation because I'm sure many people on this call now, you give somebody an evaluation and then 6 months later, they're talking about the evaluation that you gave them and you have no idea or you can't remember what exactly that amount was. This is a great way, especially on mobile phone, to when you have them on the call, you can actually just pull up your touch point rather than frantically searching through your email inbox to uncover what you told them, right? So again, you can add multiple touch points here. If you're using your mobile phone app to communicate with these people, i.e. email, text, or phone call directly from the system, it will automatically prompt it. So if I click email Tyson here, it's asking me to open up my browser, but it's saying, hey, you just emailed him. Do you want to put any touch point notes down, right? So touch points, really good way to kind of track what you're doing with your clients. Tagging. I kind of quickly skimmed over tagging, but I think that was kind of the last feature that we wanted to talk about before we kind of open the floor with the last 10 minutes and kind of take some questions. But I'm going to take off this filter here. You can see I've got a filter selected. Yes, I'm going to take off all my filters. So again, just make sure with tagging, you can get really specific, but I can click on Peter here. I'm going to edit, and then I've got a bunch of options here. So when you click on tag, you can custom create any tag you want. I don't know, bike rider, right? Once I create that tag, it's going to store it in your kind of tag list so you can tag other people as well. And maybe there's something like I've got a tag for card club. Maybe there's a bunch of people that I play cards with every Friday night that I want to mention and tag as my card club. I'm going to move this screen. I'm going to click save. But maybe it's just not Peter. Maybe it's a few other people. Maybe it's David and it's Ashley and it's Doug. We'll do one more. We'll do Brant. Right, so I've got 4 people selected here, and I want to add that card club tag to all 4 of those people. So within here, I can click, sorry, I've clicked on these 4 dots here, and I'm going to edit tags, and I'm going to add that one more tag. So here I can add, and here I can remove from the people that I've selected. So I'm going to go in here and add card club to those 4 people, and now that's confirmed. So now, if there was something I wanted to do with my card club, I could click filter, come over here to tag filter, and I just want to see my card club people. Click save, and there they all are here. Right, and so from here, I can do whatever I need to do. I can mass email out, I can sort, I can do whatever I need to do, but at least I can see all these people. And so same thing if I need to remove, right? And you probably saw that option. I don't need to cover that too much, but I can go into edit tags and I can remove that card club, right? So maybe you're tagging somebody as a first-time home buyer, excuse me, and you want to control you want to be able to search and sort those first-time home buyers, but once they've sold, maybe you want to remove that tag. You can go into here and remove tags from various people, right? I could also just go into David. If we kicked him out of the card club, I could edit him as a client, and I could just manually delete that one tag from him so that David no longer appears in that list of sorted filters of card club people. Oh, I went through that fast, but that was kind of some of the main features we wanted to talk about today in the webinar. I will kind of open this up, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, we've got about 10 minutes. If anybody's got any questions, comments. Nothing?
There are a few in the chat.
Okay, what do we got here? That's right. I'll go back to the chat. Mike, do you want to pose one here? This is Mike, one of our developers. You've been kind of managing the chat window here. Which one should I start at here? Photos.
Well, we can just go in order
so
that they were asked.
I'll start up at the top here. Will there be additional photos in the future gallery that you can scroll through? Yeah, you can see Michael from the team here has already mentioned that. We're just deciding on the next phase of what Infopack features are going to look like, and that's certainly something we've taken into consideration. We want it to be a simple system that's kind of light and quick to send out. So obviously not make it too heavy and filled with other information in terms of storing photos and videos and 3D walkthroughs and things like that. Not completely off the table. We're examining that kind of moving forward. So potentially. All right, here I feel I'd be adding a link to Dropbox with docs. There's a folder and photos. Yeah, so not important for me. You can. So I don't know if that's the actual question, but I'm going to talk about it anyways, is inside your info pack, if you wanted to, let me just kind of shrink this window a little bit, guys. If you wanted to, you can easily go into that info pack, and in the additional information area, I'll just quickly edit this info pack. In the additional information area down here, I can click additional. You could actually drop your Dropbox link, right, into here that somebody can click on, that brings you maybe to additional photos and videos and things like that, if you still wanted to leverage Dropbox or Google Suite or anything like that for that. So that's definitely somewhere that you can house it. What's the best way to track past buyers and sellers? Great question. A couple different things. I would say right off the bat, you could tag them as a year. So if you were looking at your transactions and you go through your completed list, right? Reach inside the transactions, anything that's completed, you always have chronological history here of all your buyers and sellers, right? You could go through and make this big list, or I could even click on, let's just say Nicole Johnson. I know that she completed in 2020, right? Here's the transaction of that past history, and here's the seller. I could go in and view that person, Now I'm going to edit them, and maybe I'm going to add a tag saying seller 2022. Right, save that. So now there's a way to kind of sort and filter that person. You could take it one step further. I won't on this call, but you could then go in and create an automatic task that's maybe associated to 2021 or 2022 buyers and sellers based off that tag, to have certain reminders appear, basically due dates for those tasks, to remind you to maybe speak and stay in touch with them. So if you have a goal every 5 years or 3 years to communicate with people that bought 3 years ago, that might be the way to do that. If anybody has specific questions on that, we can maybe cover that next webinar, or even reach out to the team and book a one-on-one, and we can kind of walk through that.
Brandon, do you want to just very quickly go through what adding a historical transaction would look like?
Yeah, I can do that. So for those that are wanting to kind of go back and commission track and log your kind of historical data, we can click on transactions here. You're talking about this way, Mike, instead of going through the actual lead.
Yeah, you can do this way or through the contact as well.
Yeah, so I can just obviously within transactions here, I can just click add transaction. I could associate it to somebody right now, right? Maybe I'm going to associate it to Derek. I'm going to click save. So I have to keep moving this chat window. And I'm going to say, maybe he was a seller, and I'm going to add a new address here. Click OK, and I can actually add what that transaction was, right? 567 West 1st, Vancouver. Oops. BC. Postal code. You fill out all this information if you need to. Click save. And essentially, it's adding that transaction, right? And so I can go through and put in what the offer price was, fill out that information, but you can actually just select this. So you don't really need to fill out subject removal date, put in the completion and possession dates, and then just toggle this to completed sale, right? And so that's going to store that information. Once I click save, that's going to store that inside of a completed transaction. And so that will log it. Don't forget to put in your commissions here, log it as a historical transaction, right? Not only will it historically go back and kind of track your commission in your commission graph, but it'll be associated to this Derek individual, so that when I click on Derek in the future, it's going to store his transaction data. You can see it's asking here. I'll just finish this part. Perfect. And so now if I go back to Derek, click on Derek, right? Here's the transaction history. And sometimes that may be closed. And if you toggle that open, you're going to have some historical data here, transaction history for certain clients and contacts. Last question I see here in the chat group, question about your beta email function. Does Reach have a setting at this time to allow automated drip campaign emails pre-timed out? Currently not available. In the docket of what we are reviewing right now, yes, it's on the development cycle or in our scope right now to have a level of automation, and how that automation will happen, not finalized yet. But the question here was, have some level of automation of an email that goes out based on a specific time period, or a tag or a task maybe, right? And so some type of trigger, maybe there's a subject removal date, and when that subject removal is checked off, you can have an email automatically go out. And just again, to answer that specifically, is not currently available, but it is something that we are looking at. We've heard from a couple of users that would be a really cool function to have. And so we are exploring that right now. More information on if and when that'll be available will obviously be sent out to all the users, including yourselves, once that becomes available. Any other questions in the chat group? I'll give about 30 seconds here to somebody to type a question. Other than that, that kind of finalizes our hour together. Hope that was beneficial. If there's anything else that anybody on this call wants to see, how-tos, and you're not finding it inside our documentation area here, where you can kind of learn about things and new settings. If there's anything else you want to hear about, please message us. For those that don't know, you can kind of hit hit this window down here, send us a message, things you want to see in the next upcoming webinar. Be great to hear that we can kind of cover. Other than that, thanks everybody.